Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of my Elden Ring Let's Play. It's been a while, quite a long while actually. Um, Reason being, I have been busy with like the finishing touches of, well, not finishing touches, more like the finishing up all the paperwork for concluding my course. Then I had a bit of a few days off, where I was just doing random stuff, you know, with family, all that's fun stuff. What else? Well, I also upgraded my PC quite significantly, sorry. Uh, and now I have a very steady 60 FPS in this game. So hopefully, if if the frame drops were something you were bothered with, although I don't think they were noticeable in the actual video, but if that was something that made you, well, let's just say sick to some degree, or was just bothering you in some way, well, hopefully that's no longer an issue. I had to go back and look at my older videos, just so I could familiarize myself or reacquaint myself with what we were doing. And I do believe we were going to the Altus Plateau, and that's in this direction. I am noticing a few stutters, and I hope that that's not anything like bad. Just you know, some Elden Ring performance issues that everyone's used to. Oh dear. What was that? Okay. I have no clue. We've not explored this area, these ruins, although I don't think there's anything meaningful in them, but we'll use this as an opportunity to just, you know, get myself up to my usual skill level, I guess, because after not playing for a month and being Elden Ring, you know, it's quite likely that I might be a bit rusty. Also, my commentary is probably not doing too hot. I'm already struggling to have things to talk about. But it's just something I'm gonna have to deal with. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, we didn't get poisoned. I'm not gonna kill all of those. But yeah, I mean, it was a pretty fun month overall. Even though I wasn't recording, my PC upgrade, I love it. Pretty much every game now I'm only GPU bound, which is way better than being CPU bound for sure. I think I talked about this before, but if you're CPU bound, you're gonna get stutters and overall inconsistent performance. Not only that, you're gonna just have very inconsistent frame times. It's gonna be a very miserable experience. However, if you're GPU bound, the worst thing that can happen... Oh, that's a bit of a tongue twister for me. Worst thing. Okay, the worst thing that can happen is you just have less FPS overall, but they're always capped at whatever your GPU can pump out, which is great because a stable 40 FPS is a lot better than 60 going down to 30 or even just going down to 40. Like at this point, I'd rather just have a stable 40 than stable 60, especially playing with a controller. And I've also been really heavily distracted with Elden Ring. Sorry, not Elden Ring. Skyrim. I've been playing a lot of that. Mod pack that I highly recommend everyone plays, Lost Legacy. It got an update and I even started recording a few episodes, which was not ideal because, you know, playing big games and recording both is probably gonna lead to burnout eventually. Regardless, I was recording for like the first couple of episodes, but here's the thing about modded Skyrim, and we can go on a tangent here while I pick up all the items that I may have missed from this area. Modded Skyrim has, and even vanilla Skyrim to some degree, it has a problem where, you know, if you save a lot, well, it's not saving a lot. If you save in the wrong place, if you save in combat or just after entering a new area, if you reload your saves, especially in modded Skyrim, without like thinking about it, you risk corrupting your save slowly. Now, the thing about the Lost Legacy mod pack is it's a very big mod pack. It's focused on content, like new quests and expansions over simply gameplay or graphics, although it does look pretty. So the problem here is I want to do everything, and if I want to do everything, well, you're gonna have a tough time doing everything if your save gets corrupted. Now, when you're recording, especially Lost Legacy, and I'm playing on the highest difficulty, right? So I'm dying a lot. That would be fine, if not for the fact that I have to relaunch the game, which takes a whole minute, and forces me to cut out all the editing, or cut out all the loading. So I have to edit it out, and it breaks the flow. Like early game, I was dying to some battles like 20, 30 times, because I had, well, I had to dodge everything because I got one shot. Late game, like how I am right now, because I'm like 120 hours into it, that's no longer an issue, but it just wasn't feasible to record and play in a way that I enjoy. And since I wanted to actually enjoy the game, you know, it is what it is. I had to stop recording it. I'm still having a lot of fun though with it, and I'm gonna keep playing it. Another thing that I've been playing, which I actually considered recording but decided against it, because I think I should just focus on one Let's Play at a time, for the most part, unless it's a really short game that I can knock out in a couple of sessions. I'm playing Pathfinder Kingmaker, which is a CRPG. If you don't know what CRPGs are, just think of Baldur's Gate 3, which just came out, and everyone's loving it. Basically, I was gonna play Baldur's Gate 3, but then I noticed, well, the game's a bit buggy, especially on the later acts. So let's just not play it, and I'll. Oh, come on, knock it down. So, I'll just not play it now. Wait for them to patch it, and then play it. Okay, I'm just gonna ignore this third guy. And yeah, I mean, I was going to play Baldur's Gate, but then decided not to. And honestly, it's probably a good idea, because I've been hearing quite a few issues, major issues, coming up in the later acts. But it seems like a great game. I'll probably record it, or at least I'll attempt to, because it would be very fun if I could. I've also been considering recording a Pokemon ROM-hack. I think I've mentioned this a couple of times already. So I've been in the mood for that for a couple of months. I've been in the mood for a lot of games, especially if it comes to recording them, but there's no really time for everything, right? I need to prioritize finishing what I started. In this case, it's Elden Ring, which are not really far off. I'd say we're about halfway through, maybe? I'm trying to think about it. We may be a bit more than halfway through. The problem is there's a couple of dungeons where coming up where I'm I might have to take my time with them. But overall, we're doing good progress. Progress was a lot slower in the beginning, as I was playing it very slowly. And, you know, I sometimes I still wish I would, but I kinda don't have much to show you now, right? Because before I would like try to slowly take in the sights, show you all the things that I knew about, but most of my knowledge from Elden Ring comes from like the first areas. Like I couldn't tell you a whole lot of details for this area. I mean, I can tell you we're gonna be going up there, and climbing this entire thing, but there's not really a whole lot more. Oh right, we have a lantern. Should probably turn it on. Try grass and then likely joy. Mountain ahead. That is true. There is a mountain. Oh, we got a site of grace here. But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of games I want to play, especially for recording. But I think the next game I'll probably pick something smaller. Something I haven't played, just get a bit of a blind playthrough going, right? But something that's a bit smaller in scope than Elden Ring. So Elden Ring, we're 44 hours in. My first playthrough took me 120. But I've been blazing through like Liurnia and a lot of bosses. Okay, Barbaric Roar is a decent Asha 4. Is that blood from the enemy we just killed, or is that like blood from like the environment? Oh, we're dropping out 55 FPS now. Well, and now 60. Well, my GPU is pretty much capped out, so any frame drops now are basically GPU. But the fact that I don't have any stutters anymore, it's great. The game is a lot more enjoyable to play, especially the controller, because you know, obviously, we notice the difference between 60 FPS and like 144. That is absolutely true. But with the controller, it's certainly a lot harder to notice. Probably because of the smooth movement. Like, since you just do something like this and not your movement and your perception of the movement is translating only to like the movement of your thumb as you put it on your joystick. You don't notice the lower refresh rate as much. So 60 FPS is pretty good. I don't think Elden Ring goes higher now that I think about it. I think we'd have to download a mod for that, and then we couldn't play online. I think we've explored everything around here, right? Mostly. Yeah, I think we have. We hugged all the walls. I don't know if it's supposed to, but I think this area is permanently foggy, which makes it a bit harder to... Okay, that's a message. Makes it a bit harder to find items in the fog. Ooh. Oh yeah, and I think I mentioned this a couple of episodes, but since it's been it was so long ago for me, I kind of want to talk about it again. But I also want to play Hogwarts Legacy. But I was gonna pirate it because I have no morals and no money for now. But I think I'll just buy it because it's probably gonna be on sale for quite cheap given it's been out for a while and it's a single player game. So I'll probably get it for like less than 30. And yeah, I mentioned it before. You know, piracy is. I'm pretty sure if I can't get in trouble for saying I pirate games as long as I don't, you know, actually do it and get caught. I think there's like a law for that. If you say you do drugs, you're not caught doing drugs. I don't think you actually can get jailed or pay a fine or anything. But yeah, I mean, I don't buy every game I play. I just can't afford to. Oh god. So I pirate like whatever game that's like very expensive. Oh my god, not again. I don't think it's morally correct, but what I think, I mean, it's the argument that I've seen everyone use, so you know, probably at least some person that watches this Let's Play might hate me for it, but I wasn't gonna buy the game anyway, at least not at the point where I want to play it if I pirate it, so you're not really doing much. Now, obviously, you could argue, you know, if you wanted to play Hogwarts Legacy at release and you did for free, then you wouldn't have gone to this situation where you're now considering buying it on sale. But yeah, I mean, that's true. But I've also pirated games and played them, and then I bought them on sale. I think the general contribution or to like every game maker that I've done, like 90% of the games that I've pirated and played, I've also bought. It's just some games I never do. So while you can say it's not morally correct, like in an individual case, if you look at like the broader scope of my actions, for the most part, I have done well, or I've done the right thing. So, in general, because when people think like piracy is bad, they're usually thinking in terms of like major losses, because I've pirated every game, but that's not true. You have to take in consideration that I've only probably played for free like a couple of games at most. Okay, how do I get down there without killing myself? Because I think the main argument that we could have about that is exactly that. Like a game pirate is like it's not pirating the individual game that probably harms anything, because it's just one game, especially for like games that have already made billions. Because yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna pirate a game that's $10-20. I'll probably just buy it. But AAA games, they're very much too expensive for what they're worth. But yeah, like I said, it's not the individual case. It's like 60 $60. So off a game that has made billions, you know, the harm is there, but I'm not gonna do it every time. That's like, it's one thing for the individual case, but that's, if I'm spending $2,000 or euros or whatever on games, if it was 2060, what difference would it make? Like, oh my god, I didn't want to pull that. We're talking about like me getting a game for free for like 4 or 5% of my total gaming experience, and that's only considering like very expensive games, probably. So yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to justify it completely. I'm just trying to say, for the most part, that it's not exactly. Oh my god, it's not completely black and white. There's usually some nuance to people who pirate games, and it's usually to do with just the proportion of games. And you know, we also have to get into we could also get into the debate of, do these game developers actually care enough about my gaming experience that I should care about what they do? Like, as much as you could argue about the morality of piracy or whatever, well, let's be honest. What has like Ubisoft, for example, or EA done to deserve my business with them? Because usually they just absolutely ruin all their games. So I have to listen carefully. Item ahead. Is it over there? Behind here. Listen carefully. Is it below? That has to be on the other side, right? Yeah, okay. But yeah, I mean, as I was trying to say, you know, yeah, there's a lot of arguments for both sides. I'm not gonna say it's like completely fine, but I just don't think it really matters in the grand scheme of things. If it's like one game that I will eventually buy anyway. But it's that discussion, and I wouldn't blame anyone for thinking the opposite, because truthfully, I don't think, okay, it's a bit of controversy, but I don't think, you know, you can do something that you know is wrong, because everyone eventually does something that's wrong. It's a matter of like, how much are you actually contributing to like harming other people? Because if you do something that's technically wrong, but you're not harming anyone, I mean, it's a whole argument for doing drugs or whatever, you know. There's a lot of point of views, and there's a lot of discussion that's been had for the past century, of whether or not, you know, you do something that you know you shouldn't be doing, but doesn't really harm anyone except yourself. Or in this case, it doesn't really harm yourself, and it also doesn't harm anyone else, because they've already made record profits. So it's an interesting discussion to have at one point. It's the kind of thing where you know it's wrong, but if the person that's doing it is not really, you know, a bad person, can you really say that's gonna ruin their whole character? So, I mean, I don't think I'm a bad person, but if I'm doing something that's clearly illegal, even though I'm not really, you know, sharing, I mean, I probably shouldn't be sharing it, whatever. Let's just pretend that I've done it, but I haven't done it recently, okay? But whatever. Let's just say I started the game. Am I a bad person now? You know, like I'll admit that it is wrong. I'll admit it is whatever. But can you really say, you know, I don't want anything to do with this person now? For one game that, you know, they chose to not buy now, but buy later, but pirate it right now so they can play the game now. And then also I don't buy the games out of obligation. I only do it because I want to replay the game, and you know, I want the latest update. I don't want to deal with the hassle of anything else. I just want to play the game. That's the bat that's singing over there. That one. Yeah, it's an interesting discussion. I do hope if I say something like that on YouTube, I don't actually get in trouble. I don't think I can, and you know, they can't really prove it anyway, because at the moment I don't believe I have any pirated games on my PC. So behold horse. Yeah, the two horses. This would be a great view if it wasn't dark and foggy, but it would be very pretty. Is that a body falling? Why is it only falling now? What? Yeah. Is that an item we missed? It's just an enemy drop. Yeah, it's an enemy drop. I don't think it matters. Where was I? I forgot. Yeah, I was just saying, you know, if I can get in trouble with that, well, too late, I guess. If you're watching this episode, not really much I can do about it. But I don't think I can, and you know, it's a meaningless thing, really. Various people have said, like, come out and said they've done it in the past when they were kids and they never got into trouble. And since I no longer have any games like that, don't really matter. I'd consider doing it right now for a specific game, but so long as I don't do it, there's nothing really to be proven, because I simply don't have any pirated games. So, and saying I've done it in the past isn't a way for me to like get in trouble. I can get in trouble for that, unless I can prove I've done it in like in a very recent time period. So don't really care anyway. But yeah, just to conclude that topic. Generally speaking, as I said, you know, I'm not gonna blame someone for doing it. Like even if I stop doing it now that I'm close to getting a job, not guaranteed, but if I do, I'm probably just gonna stop pirating altogether, because I mean, I can just buy the games. It's easier. I get all the updates. I get all the DLC, for sure. And unless the game is like an EA or Ubisoft game, in which case I'm never gonna buy it. I bought Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and because I just wasn't very aware of everything they were doing. But I'm not gonna be buying every game, because obviously, and that's a whole other discussion. But I have standards for how I want my games to be, and if the developers don't uphold those standards, which, by the way, for as much as I've praised Elden Ring, From Software, the game developer, has broken those standards, and by that I'm not gonna be buying their games on release anymore. What was I trying to say? Obviously, for like companies like EA or Ubisoft, I'm just not gonna play their games at all. It's like, I'll have the income to play whatever other game that I want. If they make a game that can't even run on my PC, I'm not gonna buy it. I'm not gonna support it. Now, obviously, there is a question. You know, I have a decent PC. It's not amazing, but it is decent. My CPU is top of the line now. My GPU is mid-range. If I buy a game that runs on my PC but overall performs terribly for most people because they don't have as great of a CPU, for example, what do I do then? You know, that's a good question. Honestly, I haven't thought about it, and I'll have to give it some thought, because it's all great fun when the game runs for me, but I don't want to give developers my money when they've like completely ignored optimization, and people that don't have as great of a CPU can't actually play the damn game. You know, that's just not fair for them. Serpent God's Curved Sword. Serpent God's Curved Sword. Curved sword fashioned in the image of an ancient serpent deity and tool of a forgotten religion practiced on Mount Gelmir. Formerly used to offer up sacrifices, this sword restores HP upon slaying an enemy. It's a curved sword. Okay, so it's not a giant curved sword or anything. Maybe I can use it. I said that I don't particularly care about sticking to only exclusively big swords. That's just the main build, but whatever deviation I have to make to have more fun or just to beat a boss more easily, I will, within reason. We're nearing 34 minutes, and honestly, I've been having a lot of fun talking about this topic, because, you know, it's that temptation. Topics sort of controversial, very controversial actually, and I stand on the side that might be technically more controversial, but it's not like I'm trying to, not like I'm defending the worst thing. So it is fun. It gives a very fun opportunity to talk about things that you wouldn't otherwise, you know, put my thoughts out there. You know, I might change my mind. It's not like I'm dead set on that opinion. At least I think I could easily change my mind. It's kind of interesting how they went with like Latin singing very religious Catholic singing. I don't know if it's Latin, might be just complete nonsense, whatever the bird is singing. Or I guess like the bird guy, whatever. Who can we summon? I don't remember who you are, but I also don't want to summon you. Lots of details up there that I've never noticed. Do we get up there? I thought we just go straight. So all those stairs up there are completely useless. That's some nice details, and the lighting is great. I don't know why my stagger move didn't work, but whatever. Magma Worm Scale Sword and a Dragon Heart. I do believe that sword is possibly a colossal sword. No, it is not. It's a curved greatsword, though. Curved greatsword wielded by magma worms. The shape resembles a dragon's jaw and is covered in hard scales. It is said these land-bound dragons were once heroes who partook in dragon communion, a grave transgression for which they were cursed to crawl the earth upon their bellies, shadows of their former selves. We get the unique skill Magma Guillotine. Grab the scale sword with both hands as the worm would hold it in its mouth, and leap forward, smashing it into the ground and triggering a blast of magma. Follow up with an additional input to perform a chopping attack. Interesting. Yeah, that was the magma worm. Very fun boss the first time I was here. Not really any difficult and for the following times. Okay, I do believe we were putting points into intelligence, so I can use my skill. I need 16 intelligence, right? But I don't want to use the other talisman. Now I think I'll just use this. But I don't need the Arsenal Charm, right? I do. Otherwise that'd be a heavy load. Doesn't seem to be anything around here that we can investigate. Yeah, hopefully you had fun with that conversation. Was a very interesting episode for me. We're nearing the 40-minute mark, and I certainly had fun. I can tell you that much. I enjoy when I have things to talk about, like real things, not how do I put this? Not any boring topics, I guess. No, like I don't want to just comment about what I'm looking at. I want to talk about things. Talk about my opinion on whatever I end up thinking about. Whatever it is. Doesn't have to be related to the game, although I could. I prefer when I actually prefer it when it's related to the game. And here we go. We are now in the Altus Plateau. getting close to the Earth Tree, our final destination. Or so we think. Over here we can look at Liurnia and the Academy. Although the fog doesn't really help much. But it'll clear up. Once it does, we can get a better view. The Caria Manor over there. And this passage that we went through. We could have taken the lift, but obviously that wouldn't have been as fun as taking this passage. And there's still another way we can actually get into the plateau. I'll try and go do it probably next episode. Actually no, not next episode, but eventually. I'll go do that. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode and all the talking, all of the discussion. I hope that was an interesting conversation we had, and I hope we, you know, if you have anything to say, just let me know. Cause yeah, I just want to talk and give my opinion on whatever while I play my favorite games. But I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye bye.